Everybody, let's talk about Toyota Motor Corp ADR. Alright, and we'll discuss what ADR means after we talk about the actual stock and how it's been moving. This here is a monthly chart of Toyota starting back from 1994 to today. And as you can see, Toyota steadily has climbed over the years and has always respected the monthly average, moving averages from 1994 on to today. Okay. Currently, as you can see from here, it reached a high of 255.23. Okay. And since then, it's done nothing but sell off, which is concerning. I think a lot of that has to do with all the trouble that's going on in China at the moment, and and the wars going over in Europe and supply chain issues at different ports and blah blah blah. But it's definitely been getting hit pretty hard here, and been hit pretty hard here. And that year was 2022. Took a pounding, pushed all the way back up though into this year. Now it's selling off again. It's on the monthly chart. It looks like a pretty decent pullback. We're at about 50% of this push up, so it's not terribly bad. I mean, you still, got half of your gains if you're still holding on to this trade going up and then back down. But I don't like the way that is looking on these bars are huge sell bars. But then again, it did get really far from its moving averages, from the 200-day moving average. And as you see, it likes to check back in from time to time before attempting to go higher. So if we go down to look at a yearly chart, alright, you can see that we've got some open windows here that were closed, and then it continued to sell off. But it's been selling off, and it still looks like it's in a downtrending market, continuing to sell off. We may find some support here at around 159. If that's at all possible, but I'm not too sure that's going to be a good support area either, just based on the previous years, looking at the pattern that it's been putting in. And it does have a window open here that hasn't been reconciled, so we may be going back to close that window here at let's see if we can blow it up. So I got close to closing it, but it didn't do it. So we have this window open here, at $149.90, and it's got another window here. Let's see, that high was 140.36, and this low is 145. High of 140 and 145. That's not really that big of a gap, but it is a little bit of a window there. But that one I'm not too sure is going to be that big of an issue. It's only a few pennies, so they may not worry too much about that, closing that one. But this one is here 149, and the low of this one is 157, so that's a pretty significant. We did get down here to about 152, so I mean, it's still $1 or $2 difference. So we may want to be coming back to try to completely close that one and even close these down here, because it keeps gapping. It's this stock is different because it's an ADR, and so it's traded differently than a lot of the other domestic stocks, because it's the price range is different for the American depository receipts based on companies that like particular banks or what have you that actually buy the shares for you. Let's see if I can get the actual terminology here for the ADRs. An American Depository Receipt, ADR, is a U.S. bank issued certificate representing shares in a foreign company for trade on American Stock Exchange. And then you say, is it better to buy ADR or common stock? Despite advantages of ADRs, regular stocks may still be preferable to investors who look for the purest form of equity ownership, with currency exposure, voting rights, and liquidity. Regular stocks have lesser fees compared to ADRs, and they have higher level of transparency, which is always a concern for me when you're talking about dealing with Chinese stocks, because they're half the time they don't really report their earnings. They don't report a lot of different stuff that we normally have to have reported, and so a lot of people don't like to invest in them. I know I don't. I'll every once in a while I might jump on a Neo trade and play the short game and try to pull some money out of that, but or something like that. I want a stock like that, but long term, especially in the automotive stocks, they're just not very. There's only one that I know of that's actually pretty decent, and that is escapes my mind. I was just looking at it the other day. Not Lucid. I almost had it. See if I can find it here. LAD, is that it? Lithium Motors, yeah. Lithium Motors is a pretty strong stock. As you see right now, it's $313, but over the past 5 years, we had a high of $417, low of $55. So it went from 55 to 417 in less than a year, and that was in 2019. It's been selling off a little bit. Now it's starting to go back and retest that 417 area. I know Max, as you can see, it's just been on a tear. LAD is the ticker, Lithium Motors. So that's been a strong company for some time now, and it looks like it's going to continue to do its thing. But but yeah, Toyota. And I was looking at some news on Toyota, and they've got a lot of stuff going on, which is also kind of be affecting their PE. They got some racing team that they joined with another racing team or something or other. Um, they're working with Boston Dynamics on robotics research, and they got another company they're working with fast charging systems in New York. So to provide, let's see, Toyota revealed to provide Toyota and Lexus battery EV customers with complimentary access to fast charging networks in New York City for the years through October 14, 2027. So that's not going to be cheap either. So most investors hear that kind of stuff, they're probably going to be running for the hills, thinking they're about to, throw money out the door for complimentary access, trying to get people to buy your cars. That's not a good sign. Charging, I don't know if you listen to Marquise Brownlee, and he's talked about charging his Tesla and how much power it took to charge it. It was in one of his videos when he was talking about his Tesla power, his roof, and his and the power packs or whatever you call them inside his garage or whatnot, and how much the car drained the whole system just to charge it. And now here Toyota is talking about doing complimentary charging, so that's going to be money lost there, which is kind of makes investors nervous as well, especially when you're giving things away, trying to get more business. But currently looking at the chart, it's selling off. I believe it's going to continue to sell off as long as they continue to do these things with the complimentary charging and all that stuff. That's not how you make money. So they had earnings coming up soon on 11/6/2024. So November 6th have their earnings. A lot of times they put these things out and then they don't do it. So that's another thing to watch out for. But so far, it's in a downtrend market. It's in a bearish market, and it may continue to sell off. Look for maybe where this bar caught some support here at 159. Maybe it might come in here, and this might become a support area, and maybe it might start to head back up to retest this 255.23. But I doubt it. I think it's going to continue to sell off into the new year because the EV and most car sales and whatnot usually pick up towards the end of the year because they're trying to get rid of the the 2024s so they can bring in the 2025s. So there'll be car sales will be picking up, but most people probably aren't buying cars right now because the interest rate's so high. And those that are probably gonna, most likely, well, I can't say what people's finances are like, but they're gonna feel some pain trying to buy a car right now with the interest rates as high as it is. So looking at the chart, it's selling off. Looks like it's going to continue to sell off. You got the moving averages rolling over to help force it down even lower. You got the 5 SMA acting as resistance. You got the 20-day acting as resistance. And as you can see, it's been respecting this 20-day. Here it kind of tried to get through it, but couldn't do it. Tried again, couldn't do it because this moving average came over and got in the way. So let's see what happens down around $160. 160 doesn't hold. Let's see what happens around 140 when we close that window. And if that doesn't work, look out below. Alright, that's Toyota. Let me put the ticker symbol there. It is a consumer discretionary. Ticker TM. Be careful with Toyota if you're long term. Alright, thanks for watching and listening, and please like and subscribe, and be careful out there. These markets are crazy.